How was the
Yes,
Halloween weekend, brother?
it was good. It was fun. Safe and fun. Hopefully, everybody had a good, safe holiday weekend or Halloween weekend as well. How about
I
you?
love Halloween. It's one of my favorite. My wife overbuys candy every year, and for like the week after, I get to eat all the candy. It's awesome.
Yeah, you said no kids showed up, so that's even better, right? That's a bonus.
Yeah, it was very, very, very few. I mean, I think we went through 200 pieces of candy, right? Like,
Oh, no kidding.
so you
Yeah,
think about it, max 100 kids because I give out two to make sure
yeah,
there's enough for Dan at the end.
that's
I'm
it.
I'm pretty
Two for
strategic about
you,
the
four
candy,
for
by the way.
me.
You know what
Two
I
for
mean?
you.
Yeah. So I sat. It's funny because so something on my bucket list is going to Chris Barant's backcountry adventure. And for all you sled necks and snowmobile people out there, you probably know what that is. So Chris Barant came onto the scene kind of on it through a group called Sled Necks, which is just these insane guys that just like go off mountaintops and do backflips and shit on snowmobiles. So
Oh, goodness.
getting into all of that. So last night I sat down when I was outside because the dog and the losing the mind every time the doorbell rings. We go out on the front porch, and so I sit out there and I got my iPad and I just watch YouTube videos. I caught up on my Chris Barant mountain riding series of
Yes.
videos. So
And now you're ready to go? Is that what you're saying?
I'm dying to get out there. Actually, it's funny because it's kind of like I don't I don't know about you, but for me, um, I kind of won't have the golf bug until I start watching golf, and then I want to go
Oh,
play golf,
yes. Yep.
right? And
Yep.
and
Same thing.
it's the same thing when I look at it from snowmobiling. It's like all summer I don't think about it. On the weekend, I pulled the sleds out, washed them down, started them up, and then it's when you hear the exhaust. It's like, oh, I can't wait for sledding season to start. I am so excited. So then, of course, then it's you got to grab the Royal Distributing catalog, see what kind of upgrades you want to get this year. And
Of course.
yeah, it's a disease, but it's but it is what it is. So you know what? Today, okay. So let's get into it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
Let's do it.
the idea in this.
I think Jeffrey Dickerson started us off right. He said, "Hey, it's the DJ. It's the day and the DJ show." There we go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, so here's the thing: delivering the right message to the right person in today's market. More important than ever, not as important than ever. Let's talk about it. To the HPLS podcast. Live, relevant, and high performance information, conversations, and education weekly. Now, y'all might not have seen this in the background, but I think DJ just had a narcolepsy moment because I saw his eyes close, and I think he started nodding off there for a second. So we might
Nope,
we might
nope.
have to change that intro. We might have to change that intro. So,
Oh no, no, I
uh,
liked it. I liked it. It was my it was like my little meditation. Get ready. Let's get ready to do this thing. So
all right. Well, you know what? Let's do it. So, I mean, listen. Reality is this, right? Getting a prospect on the phone, getting a prospect to actually listen to you, getting through to a prospect. I don't know about you, DJ, but to me, it's more gold than ever, right? Like back
absolutely.
in the
Oh, yeah.
day, there was, we would send an email. It was like people were opening emails more. Like everything's kind of changed, and I keep going back to this as I ask prospects and customers, like how many calls do you get a day? How many, like all of these things, and I know we've beaten this dead horse immensely, but I think it goes back because even today, I still speak with reps daily who don't get as much done on the call as possible. And what I mean by that is, we'll have a conversation. They'll say, "Oh my God, it was a great call." Okay, I said, "Did you figure this out? Did you figure this out?" No. What about this? Well, I'm not sure. What about this? I'm not sure. Like to me, I get you on the phone. I am going to, for lack of a better term, what do they say? Like a fine tooth comb. I'm going to go through the
Yes,
conversation with
exactly.
a fine tooth comb and have like things that I need in order to make that interaction as beneficial as possible. Obviously the first, before it was. So prior to kind of everything happening over the last 24 months kind of thing, it was the conversation for me anyways was more of a, let's have a conversation, figure out if we connect, and
Mm.
then let's get into another part. And now it's transitioned, and I love your take on it.
Okay.
All of you watching, listening, Jeffrey, I know you're still making these calls. Um, Now I find it's more of a, here's my nucleus. This is my superpower. This is what I'm really good at. Can it help your business? Because for me, anyways, I'm finding if I continue on that old path, I become that telemarketer person that I've never wanted to be. Which,
Mm.
when I look at this business as a whole, that telemarketer person was a real block for me when I first got into the business. Like a real block. It was like the thing that stopped me from making phone calls because I couldn't
You-
get over this. I'm a telemarketer, like, and I never was in sales before this industry. I mean, I wasn't in anything. I was kind of almost just turning 17, um, but it was kind of that. I'm calling this person up and, hey, did you, no, okay, hey, did you, no, hey, did you, and I really felt like that duct cleaning or window cleaning person, or that person that called you up and said you won, a new boat. All you got to do is pay the taxes of 16 grand and it's yours, right? But um, like, that was a major block for me when I first got into the industry. Was like, who am I? I mean, what do I have to bring to the table? And not only what do I have to bring to the table, but how do I share with my prospect how I can bring it to the table or how this can help them if I don't even know. Like, so many people talk about, well, you got to figure out what their problems are. You got to figure out what, and I get that because in the end we do. But there are so many sales reps, and I think this is the nucleus of what I'd really like to get into today, is there are so many sales reps that have a problem figuring out what the problem is, right? Like, it's easy to say as a salesperson to a student, well, yeah, you got to do an investigative call. Once you investigate, and it's all great, you read every sales book there is. Well, you got to investigate. But how do you start investigating? Like, how do you start delivering the right message that opens up? And this is the core element here, that opens up a prospect that's been called 20 times already today, and 20 people have wasted his time or her time, right?
yeah.
It's a big question, brother. It's a
You,
big question, and I think
you're
it's a
hitting the
question.
well, and the thing is, and not to cut you off, but thing is, I think we realize when we're calling, and the reason we have this block, same as you. I mean, I did sales, so I did a lot of sales prior to getting into this, just not over the phone. I was not very good. I like to see people. I like to. Just give them a little bit and kind of read a little bit more. So trying to read somebody over the phone is hard. And so I think I just the way and again, hopefully this helps some of you guys. But there's a wall, and anybody in sales, you're taught that you have this wall, and your customer kind of has this they're guarded, and you're trying to just drop this so that they can just talk to you. And you can't see that when you're on the phone, but there's little keys that in retail. So retail, one of the things that you learn in retail sales is, if you when you're helping somebody and you have a line or you have people waiting, if you just acknowledge them and say, hey, I'll be right with you. They know you acknowledge them, and now it kind of buys you some more time. I think the same thing with calling on the phone. You got to get it right out of the way as soon as you can, like Dan likes to talk about. And Jeffrey, here we go. Take an empathetic approach. Do not hammer the prospect, the freight sales part of the engagement. Don't be afraid to apologize. Let him know that he gets beaten up every day and that you won't take up much of his time. Exactly. Even more than that, do your homework on the company. Yep. Even more than that, though, ask for permission. Just like, hey, I'll be right with you. Hey, Dan says it almost every time he spits out any of the what he's been doing is this whole career of doing this over the phone, and it's can I have a couple minutes of your time? Do you have 5 minutes? Can I take 5 minutes? It won't take up any more of that. I promise it'll be worth it. And just get it right out. I know you've been beaten up, just like Jeffrey said. I know you've been beaten up, but just that if they then give you that 5 minutes, now take your time and you're making a friend. Make a friend. I think that's what really changed my whole mind set on sales, was when I really took to heart that you're really just trying to make a friend. And if you can make a friend out of the person on the other side, then everything else kind of flows from there. And that's where I take that approach, and I think that kind of brings that wall down a little bit. But yeah, to Jeffrey's point, he's so right. Um,
Hmm. And I mean that to me goes right in line with it's the nucleus of my 8 mile approach, right? Like, hey,
yeah, yeah,
you've been hammered probably 20, 30 times today. If you had 20 calls, I hope I'm not the 21st that's completely pissed you off. I would even say, and because delivering the right message to the right person is
mhm,
essential in our business, because we don't want to waste our time. We don't want to waste anyone else's time. Well, hopefully you don't want to waste anyone else's time. I would say as soon as you get past that, 8 mile it, hit like Jeffrey said, hit him with empathy. Like DJ said,
yep,
ask for permission. I would hit him with what you're best at. And I
mhm,
think the days are, so personally, I feel the days are gone where we can go into a customer and say, here's what we're really good at. And they say, well, we don't do it. Well, what do you do? Well, we do that. Well, we're good at that too. I think
yeah,
in the end, you're going to reduce your sales timelines. I truly believe this. You're going to get better quality customers in your business and to work with. You're going to get higher paying freight in your business and people you work with. And I think in the end, you're going to reduce your overall anxiety, reduce your overall stress, and reduce your overall friction daily
yes,
by bringing the right people on the bus. You know, who was it? I think it was Simon Sinek that said it. He says, in business, like in sales, in business, it's about getting the right people on the bus. It's not just about filling the bus. Like, I think as sales reps, and this could be from a corporate perspective, where maybe corporate has to revamp. But there's, like, I hear it every day from sales reps getting home, and me saying, like, my managers are all over me. People are all over me, and I'm saying, okay, well, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's multiple levels to that. Like, okay, you've been screwing the pooch for a year and a half collecting their money. You're not producing results. You deserve to have a little bit of pressure coming down on you. But there's also pressure
mhm,
that I've seen corporately that is, like, blows me away, because I'm sitting there going, they're producing, they're doing good, but yet it's not enough. It's not enough.
yeah,
And I mean, I've seen salespeople getting privileges taken away, and privileges meaning like you can't go close business because you're no good at it. And I'm sitting there thinking, this is your second tier salesperson in the company, and you're reducing. And the salesperson's going, like, I'm fed up. I want to go somewhere else, or I want, and there's all this outside friction. So, as a sales rep, going into these conversations, I don't know about you, but especially in today's day and age, it's like I want to use my time and speak to somebody that I'm congruent with. But again, how in the hell do we know we're congruent, DJ, if we can't even like break down that first wall? So I think you gave some great points.
yep,
Go and ask for permission. Hey, can I get 2 minutes of time? Listen, and here's the thing. For all you reps listening that say, what, yeah, this is what I want to do. I really want to hone in my business. I really want to get strategic about my business, because you can fall into millions of dollars in business, like tens of millions.
oh yeah,
But if you really want long term success, and I think this is the nucleus of Sales Chatter with DJ and Dan, is long term success, right? Like
yep,
anyone can fall into it or see success for a time being, and then kind of hit a plateau. And I've seen it hundreds of times. It's as salespeople, especially, but companies especially, because the mindset of management needs to change before that company can exceed that plateau, right? But salespeople's mindsets as well need to change. So if we're selling the same way we were selling 36 months ago, and we've hit a plateau, I personally believe that's why.
mhm.
Personally,
Well,
um, Some people
When
might
I
call me
mean,
wrong, but
when you said it, I mean, we've touched on it the whole time. Not all good money, or not all money is good money. The same, it's the same concept we keep kind of talking about. And Jeffrey brings up another good thing. Yeah, if you know the business, you know the potential. That's like, it's like you were reading my mind. I was actually talking about that exact one. But if you know the business, you know the potential problems, and that's where you ask them. So that's where you 8 Mile it, like Dan said. Hey, and I know probably the 21st call. I promise I'll make it quick. What I realized from talking to my existing base, if you don't even have an existing base, what I realized of talking to the potential clients that I've talked to so far is these are the issues they're having. What are you having? What do you have? And let them talk. And then maybe you bought time there too. But
or
I,
even a statement like, "Are you seeing similar patterns?"
yeah,
And
exactly.
even if you use a statement with, "Are you seeing similar patterns?" You're not necessarily, and the reason I say this is you're not necessarily calling out the issues they're having. You're allowing them to say, "Yeah, we've got similar things in the works." And then I think, again, if we look at you know the human ego, is I'm hired to run this logistics department, this transportation department.
Yeah,
If I admit I'm having issues to this person, I have no idea who they are, right? Again, different conversation, right? There's a cold, there's a warm, and there's a hot conversation, right? And there's a delivering conversation as they are your client and you're delivering. And you're always going to get more information on the delivering conversation, on a hot conversation, on a warm conversation than you are on a cold conversation. So
yeah,
again, there's levels that like an entry level point, right? If you get a reference from a customer and the customer says, "Hey, this is my buddy DJ. DJ, this is Dan. Dan, this is DJ. Hey, DJ, Dan is awesome at what he does. And DJ, I know we had a conversation. You need a little help." You enter that conversation right in between kind of that warm and hot conversation. So DJ is going to divulge more information to me because he's been introduced by a secure source,
yeah,
right? By somebody who he trusts. So he's going to say, "Okay, I'll open up," right? As an investigative call, and I'm cold calling, this person has no idea who I am. If we think this traffic manager is going to, "Oh man, dude, you know what? I am getting beat up by these carriers." Like it's admitting we can't do our job right, right? So
yeah, yeah, yeah,
there's terminology that I think as a salesperson, as a professional, as somebody that continues to strive to be more, do more, and achieve more, I think we have to use a terminology that kind of opens things up, right? And I
yeah.
love that other people in this industry are experiencing this. Is it something like, are you seeing that or signs of that? And to me, that's more of an investigate. But then I go back to in the first 10 seconds of the call, um, in essence, I really want to deliver what my superpower is, like what I'm very good at. Mr. Prospect, customers have told me I'm like the person that they go to for X, Y, and Z. Does X, Y, and Z, like any of it, relate to your business? Because with the 1,500% increase in calls that you're probably getting a week, if you have no need for X, Y, or Z, I don't want to use your time. And I personally feel that's a much better approach in today's market. You're using empathy, but
Oh, yeah.
also you're saying, "Here's what I'm really good at." And there's areas of the conversation afterwards that you can explore and different tentacles you can pull out, and, air, ocean, rail, warehousing, all this other crap. But what are your core competence? Like, what are the core fields that and here's a task for y'all. Go back to your customers and say, what if you were to pick three things that I do better than anyone you've ever worked with? What would be those three? And I know it's a hard comp. Like when I first had to ask my customers that, I'm thinking, are they going to
Oh
think
shit.
like I'm like trying to build my ego up? But it's like we don't see our core competencies. Like as a sales trainer, I go out to my students all the time and I say, what is it you feel that I do better for you than any other, you know, uh, trainer or coach, or depending on what level they are in my business, than you feel? And what is it that you need to learn? How can I create videos or training for you to learn that? And I go out and I let them tell me, and I'll tell you, clients have come back when I've been like, really? Like, Never once would I have thought of that one,
Oh
right? It's like,
yeah.
okay,
Oh
so
yeah.
that's, and then you start seeing a pattern. So you ask five, six, seven customers, and all of a sudden they come back and they say this, this, and this. Okay, maybe it is, for lack of a better term, a communication thing. Okay, hey, Mr. Customer or Mr. Prospect, my customers right now say my communication is on point. Like, they have not found somebody that communicates better. Are you having any communication issues? And the reason I say that, and some people that are on here, and I'm probably going to, yeah, Jeffrey, the KISS approach, keep it simple, superstar. That's the way it's not keep it simple, stupid. It's keep it simple, superstar.
I like it.
So, but, and some people might say, yeah, but you're leaving a lot of business on the table. And here's kind of what I say about that is, I go back to things we have said numerous times again. Not all business is good business. Do I really want to put a subpar foot forward? And what I mean by that, and please take this with a grain of salt, okay? I've had more problems with other departments in my company than my department. I've had more problems by trying to do something that I wasn't super competent at to start. Right? And I always found that I would use the phrase, Murphy's Law. Who invited Murphy to this party, right? How many times have you heard, DJ, Murphy's Law, the first load is going to go shit?
Oh
Well,
yeah.
the first load
All
goes
the
shit
time.
because I don't believe it's up
Same.
your bulletproof category of what you do with excellence. It's
Oh,
a
absolutely.
typically when it
I
goes bad, it's you're chasing this person for 6 months, 3
Yep.
months, 6 months, and at the 11th hour, because their incumbent dropped the ball, you have to pick the ball up. Not always the easiest thing to do. Hey, listen, don't get me wrong. People shine. Like I know people, and I've had conversations with salespeople. They're like, I will never play a round of golf on a Friday because I'm going to be that guy when that prospect calls every Friday. I'm going to be that guy or that girl that's going to get that load. I'm going to be that person they need. So I'm never going to golf on a Friday. Which, hey, go for it, man. If that's what you want to do, go for it. But like, at what point do we step outside what we're super competent at, and it backfires, right? That I
Yeah.
think is the big thing that we as sales reps need to ask ourselves.
Well, and I think that also, yeah, exactly. The kiss, find the door quickly and open it. Yeah, you're trying to find their pain points, and that's the thing of sales. But again, to kind of touch on what Dan was mentioning there, uh, you just I can't even think of how I wanted to say it now, but um, you just really want to take your time, but also remember that time is valuable to them as well as to you. So you're trying to find the points like Jeff had talked about, but um, yeah, it's it's sales, man. It's sales.
No, 100% it is, but it's you know it we walk a fine line in sales. We really do. And I think Jeffrey says it great. He says, when talking with a traffic manager, be careful. Sometimes they feel like you're trying to take their job away, and you might uncover an issue and expose a weakness. So make sure that you make them comfortable and feel like you're going to make them look good. I think he says look like a superstar, actually. I think that's imperative,
Yeah.
right? And maybe that's one of your superpowers. Maybe it is. But I could share with you without a doubt that a long-term sales business that you love comes with the right customers. And when you have the right customers and you deliver the right message to those customers, I think that's when everything is so congruent and everything comes together that we as sales reps, it almost seems, and I don't get me wrong when I say this, but effortless, right? Like, you have now got a process which helps you uncover. And I'll say it again like this: there's certain people we like and certain people we don't like, and if we bring customers in just because they have business, realizing that it's not necessarily the person we like, I think that adds more friction and conflict to our daily business
Absolutely.
than not having that. Like I have hated this industry because, and here's the crazy, hated this industry, like wanted out because I chose to work with clients that didn't meet who I was and didn't,
Yes.
I had a couple of clients in Jersey where I would cringe every time they would call. I mean, they were sexist and
Yes.
rude to my team. They were, and I still took their business. I can remember my
Uh,
account manager,
You,
like
you
the
almost feel
lady
like
that was
you're
in
handing over your
control.
soul for the.
Yeah, but I mean, I can remember vividly, and she like ran my business.
Oh yeah.
And I remember walking in my office going, I will never answer this dick's phone call again. And my response, because I was, young, obviously, like I'm the account rep, so you'll listen. I said, you know what? He pays the bills, so you'll answer the call. And it's kind of like, as I mean, even when I think about it, I go back and I say, did I really say shit like that? Like, but I did. But it was because it was business. And I look at it now and I say, I would never work with this person. I don't care how much business they gave me. But I think as sales reps, we make these choices and then we complain or we bitch, we complain, we get frustrated when these customers we chose to deal with
Yeah.
um, just be themselves, right? Like, I mean, and the perfect analogy for this is, you go out, you get a prospect. So for all you sales reps, you probably face this. You go out, you talk to a prospect, they're like, yeah, we send an email out, and you guys quote on it, and this crap, blah blah, and you get the business. Hey, can I get on that email list? Yeah, sure. And you start getting business, and 4 months later, you're getting a ton of business. 4.5 months later, you're getting no business. And as a perspective, as a sales rep, we walk into the phone call to get the business back going, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this. These four things. I like broke my back for you making this happen. Where's the business? Well, I gave it to this person because they were $50 cheaper. And then we, as sales reps, get pissed off.
Yeah.
And I say, what the hell are you getting pissed off for? This was the deal that this person, you walked into this knowing
Yeah.
this. I send an email out, the cheapest price wins the business. You were the cheapest price. You just eroded somebody else's margins. You got the business. Now, when somebody else erodes your margins, you're pissed off at them. Like,
Yeah.
I don't, it's kind of like a company going out and headhunting salespeople. And they're like, yeah, we just got the salesperson. But when another company had some their salespeople, it's like, we're going to cut your head off. And it's like, hello,
Yeah.
it's a back and forth. But we make the choice as sales
Yeah.
reps to choose with the people we want to work with. So, we can't complain. And I know it's a really big pill to swallow. Like, we're responsible for the customers we bring in because so many people are going to say, Dan, no, absolutely not. You know what? No, we don't choose customers. Customers choose us in this environment. No, no, we choose customers because
If
if
you
you
guys are
lead with your
approaching, yeah,
superpower, it's going to be a customer that appreciates that superpower. Now
yeah.
you're congruent, right? Hey, listen, I had
You
a
should feel like
colleague.
it with any customers you guys are working with. It should get to the point in the beginning. Obviously, it's kind of like making a friend or dating somebody. There's that weird awkwardness, but then especially depending on if you guys click well. Me and Dan, I mean, it, I this all started from a podcast that he invited me to, and now we're here. If you click, you'll know it, and if you do, then everything just kind of goes easy. But you want to kind of keep the pulse on that while you're doing the business. And like Dan's saying, build the value, reach out to them and build the value instead of. But find out if that's what they're valuing, and like Dan's mentioning, if that's the way you're getting the business, then that's the way the business is going to go. If you're not reaching out to then build that bridge, and maybe it was just an email and you got the cheapest and that's just how it's been going, and you didn't take the effort then to reach out and keep going, keep going, then yeah, just that's you
So, and here's the thing,
love it.
DJ, you said something very interesting there. Um, you know, when you connect, things happen faster.
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yep.
think about a time for you as a sales rep, right? All of you listening, watching, whatever it is, a time when you went from cold call to close and it just seemed easy. It seemed like everything flowed. Like there was one call, you're like, man,
Yes.
I really
Yeah.
hit it off. And then the next call, it's like, we got the ability to do this. Then the next call, it's like, okay, you can do this, this, and this, but not this. So let's go, let's do it. And we have those calls. We've all, I think, if you've been in sales for, I'm going to say probably any and 24 months and beyond, you've
Yeah.
had some of those
You're
closings.
gonna accidentally fall into those. They're gonna happen.
100%.
Yeah.
But again, I disagree with the accidentally fall into, and
Well,
only because I think that moves along because you're congruent. Like you immediately
yeah.
connect, right? So as a sales rep, I would rather find out my like as a first mission on a cold call will be, do I connect? Not do they have business? Do I
Yeah.
connect? And if they have one load a month or a load a day, I don't really care as well long as I connect. Right.
Yeah.
And then I think of it like this, and by all means, anyone that doesn't agree with me, call me out. But I think of it like this, right? I have friends that I consider friends that I might not speak to in 6 months, but when I speak to them, it's like time's never passed. Right?
Yes. Yep.
We talk. Bobby is a prime example. Bobby
Yeah.
and I have
I
been
was just
friends
gonna
for
say.
well over 2 decades, and I might not talk to Bobby for 6 months, but as soon as I talk to him, it's like, dude, how's the family? And there's all this energy, and it's like we are congruent once again, right? And then I have
Yep.
friends I reach out to every now and then, and it's like time's never passed, and I think that process, that nucleus, is even there with customers. So if you have a customer that ships once a month, but you get along so well, when they call you that once a month for the freight, it's like it's easy.
Yes.
And the biggest thing that I have found when I'm congruent with my customers is service failures are not service failures. They're conversation points.
Yes. Yeah.
Service failures don't create tension. They create opportunities. How many times have we heard people say, and all these coaches and everybody, oh, you know what? You got to create opportunities out of issues. Yes, 100%. But the only way you're able to create opportunities out of issues is if you're congruent. Because
Yep.
if your traffic manager is, or if the person you're dealing with is that you messed up and ballistic type person, there's very few opportunities in that anger. But when you're congruent and you have an understanding with your customer that says, DJ's always going to make me look like a superstar. Every single choice DJ makes is to help me increase my image, credibility, and brand. If DJ makes the wrong choice, the customer is going to know, okay, he just made the wrong choice. It doesn't mean it's going to continue to happen, right? I just, I look at, we had a gentleman when I had a bunch of salespeople under me. We go back to this, ease and type of business we want. He loved the chase, loved it. Like, just
Oh yeah.
it made his day when he was like, okay, customers like, okay, I need it $50 cheaper, and like his wheeling and dealing was what brought him energy. And I looked at him and I said,
I love it.
brother, like, you really want to make like 40 minutes of phone calls to make $200? I would rather make $200 in a 30-second phone call. And he goes, yeah, man. He goes, and hey, listen, don't get me wrong. The guy at one point was doing like 20, 25 G's a month, hustling, and he was hustling. But he realized the gap when he went away. He went on vacation, and he
Mm.
came back to, I think, 2 loads being moved. And I remember him coming to my office vividly, and he's furious. I said, but you cannot expect, you're one guy, and you spend 7 hours a day chasing 5 or 6 loads.
Yeah.
Like, these ops
I've
people,
seen I've seen a
this
lot of
ops
those.
team, yeah, these ops teams have 40, 50 loads to cover a day because they're the ops team for this whole department. So they
Mm.
said, you can't expect one person to spend an entire day doing your chase freight. You chose that business model.
Yeah.
Part of that business money, he didn't like it. He didn't like it at all. He went above my head to management. Manager was like, well, what do you want me to do? Like, we have X amount of people in there for the volume. You're
Yeah.
not at a point where you can get your own ops team. But businesses like that run through ops team like a madman. Like, I mean, they just
No,
burn ops teams
absolutely.
out. But I was like, you made that choice to build a business like this.
Hmm.
You have to live with that choice. And I know sometimes as sales reps, it's a tough pill to swallow. Trust, I've swallowed enough tough pills in my life that, like, we're talking stuff that barely
Oh
goes down
yeah.
kind of pills in my life. And trust me, it's tough. But when
Yeah.
we realize we created that, and I think this is the biggest message out of today, the right message that I'm now in this mindset and passion and to deliver to you today as a sales rep, is you make the choice to build the business you want to build. If you've built a business that you hate, you made that choice to build it, so unconsciously or consciously. So
Hmm.
go back, retool. Because the beautiful thing about sales is we could retool. We were
Absolutely.
talking about those 30-day plans that we had
Absolutely.
some rock star $1 million producers talk about. And one of the biggest kind of outcomes was the fact that, hey, listen, like, we have the opportunity to build the business of our dreams as salespeople. All we got to do is find the right people. Where do they congregate? How do we bring them into my world? How do like, this is key to our development. But the thing is, I shouldn't say that. I think my perspective is that as a sales rep, we just kind of blindly follow the pattern. And in logistics, it's sit with this person, hear what they have to say. Sit with this person, hear what they have to say. Sit with this person, hear what they have to say. And we
Hmm.
blindly start selling. And when I say blindly, meaning we put no emphasis on, okay, what kind of business do I want? And as simple as, how many days a week do I want to work? And some of you out there that just started in the business might be like, no, 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 no. But it's true. Like, think
Yeah.
about it. How many days a week do you want to work? How, when you go on vacation, do you want the ability to, and for those of you that are just starting in industry, you might not have this experience, but us that have been in it for a long time can tell you, DJ can tell you, Jeffrey can definitely tell you, I can definitely tell you, there's been numerous vacations where the entire vacation I'm on my computer and phone fixing
Yeah.
problems
Oh yeah.
because I chose to bring those types of customers into my business.
Well,
Again,
so
listen to what I'm saying. I chose to bring
yes, exactly.
those
Third
types
shift
of customers.
customers, late load customers, all of those things. Everything you hear somebody complain about, or hear the nightmares of this, you're building it. You're
Yeah.
doing it.
And it's because I
Exactly.
delivered the right message to the wrong person. Meaning,
And you did.
okay, and again, I'm not talking about like superficially, okay, hey, listen, I'm all about service and they're about price, and I'm delivering my right message. I'm talking about, well, I don't do that, but I do this. I could do that. Yeah, I
Mhm.
could do that. I could do that because I want the business. So I'm choosing to bring that person into my world, knowing they're going to be a pain in the arse. To all of you shippers out there that are listening, I apologize, but some of y'all are a pain in the ass, just like some
Throw,
of us
throw, yeah,
logistics guys are a pain in
throw
the
up
ass.
Jeffrey's comment because that's I have this talk with my wife all the time too. Yes, it's we've had those nights, and I think the thing that Dan is really trying to get at, guys, and that I mean that we're trying to do with this show is one. The congruency, you're gonna feel that. Anybody new to this, you'll feel that when it feels like it's not client broker anymore. It's like you're a team, and you feel like a
Mhm.
team. Once your client becomes like you guys are a team, and you're both going through this together, whatever the issues are, whatever, and they're like, "Hey, man, this is what's going on." Now you're there. That's the customer that you want, because then what beats that? Nothing can beat that. But again, it's not, oh, just keep lowering your price and you're going to build that bond, that team thing. It's being, yes, partnership, exactly. Once you have that, and your customer, your client, your whoever, your friend. Again, I say it all the time because that's the way I approach it. It's, you're making a friend. That's all you're doing. It really
Mhm.
is. I hate to make it sound so stupid and so simple, but it's so hard for normal people who aren't in sales to just make friends because they're so afraid to just talk to somebody. But you never know what you're going to find on the other side unless you talk to them. So just say something and don't be afraid. And worst case, they hang up, they say, fuck you, and okay, next one, whatever.
Well, I mean, here's okay. So I'm watching the comments come in. I'm listening to you, and I'm saying, okay, Mr. Prospect, my name's Dan Deegan from HPLS, right? I know you've probably getting hammered with calls. My ideal clients are ones that are real partners that are congruent, meaning like we see eye to eye. Here are my three big things that all of my clients say I do well for them. Do any of those align with how you believe or what you see as a partnership? There's your 10-second intro,
There it is, right there. Copy
right?
it.
And
Write it
then all of a
down.
sudden it's like, yes or no.
Tweak
No,
it.
sorry, it's not the way it works. Thank you so much. And you know what? Here's the thing. If you come in with an intro like that and they say no, be thankful you didn't
Yeah.
spend any more time. Like, this is not a frig, I suck at sales. This is a hallelujah. Thank you, Lord, because you just saved me from so many hassles 3 or 6 months from now.
Yes.
Excellent,
Yeah.
Dan.
Exactly. Yes.
Boom.
Boom. That's
Right?
right.
Like, thank you for not wasting my time.
This is it.
Thank
Yeah.
you for
Yes.
helping me build the career I love. And I think this is the tipping point for all of us, right?
Yes.
If we want a career, and I shouldn't say the tipping point. Take it from somebody who had that as a tipping point, where especially now, I look at right now, the present day and age, right? November 1st, days are shorter. I like going into the winter months were some of the
Oh
months that I
yeah.
hated the most, just because I drove to work in the dark and I drove home in the dark. The
Yeah.
only sunlight I saw was out the other end of
Out
the
of the
window in
office
the office,
window. Yep.
right? So I look at that and I say, I mean, I can't tell you how many days driving to work going, really? Is this the career I chose? Like I'm sipping on my coffee. It's freezing out. It's pitch black. I'm like raccoons running across the road, going to a career
Yep.
I didn't like. I dealing with waking up in the morning and looking at your phone and there's like 27 new emails. You're like, oh, and you open up emails and it's like, okay.
Yes.
Well, first of all, that customer, I told them this was going to happen because they didn't want to pay more. So, but again, we made that freaking choice. Own it. And
I,
and I woke up
but
one
I
morning and I said, I don't want to do this. Like, I'm done. I'm
when I
so
can't
fed up with
remember.
this crap. I got to drive to work in the dark, drive home in the dark. I spend more time working. I come home, my phone's going off like a million times. I'm at the dinner table with my family, and my head's somewhere else. And it's like it's this, like, who wants a career like that? Where no matter where you are in your business, do yourself the biggest favor ever is stop for 1 hour today. 1 hour. Shut the scrolling off. If you got the new iOS, put it on focus or whatever the do not disturb is now.
Now
Shut your
Dan's
email
talking my
off. Put an
language.
out of office on. Close your door. Go sit in your car and say to yourself, ask yourself this: what do I want my career, not my job, my career to be like in 3 to 5 years?
Mm-hmm.
And that vision is the nucleus of every decision you make. Will this decision get me to that career? On my computer here, I got a very simple choice by choice. I get closer to or further from my goals. Right. My dear friend Rico Rakowski taught us this. This choice will get you closer to your goals.
Yeah.
This choice will put you into
Love
the
it.
ground
Love
faster.
it. Absolutely.
So let's think of this for a second. Like 3 to 5 years. Where do you want your career to be? Hell, talk about it in 6 to 12 months. Where do you want your career to be?
Well,
And
and
that
and
point
here's
will
here's a
bring
little
every decision.
and here's a little sales hack using taking Dan's shirt there. I love that shirt, by the way.
Sales hacker.
Sales hacker. But taking a little mental hack, sales hack, mix the 5 second rule. If you guys don't know it, you better look it up. But mix it with what Dan's saying, the two decisions, and count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and always at that crossroad is making this call or is doing this. What is my better decision? And decide that quickly and just do it and just do it. And yeah, you'll be happy.
Bingo.
You'll be happier you did. It's that's it, man. But yeah, it man, I love these kind of shows. I love put Ryan. I seen your post. I did see. So Ryan's likes the Monday motivation. I seen his. Seen he had a LinkedIn post with a little motivation on there as well. I love that. Mondays are definitely a good day for motivation. So yeah, get motivated. Take that hour, like Dan said, when you're quiet, and take some
Not
time for
even when you're
yourself.
quiet, DJ, because you know what? People are going to say, "Well, I'm never quiet."
Shoot, you
Like
got to.
I think if we are going to make the most out of our career, again, career, right? Like if this is just a job for you and it's a stepping stone and you're kind of using it just to, go through that night class, good for you,
Yeah,
right? Good for you because you have a vision. But the question is that career that you now are going to, are you going to do the development? And this is for me, and I know we're going a little long today, my friends, but for me, this is the I'm blown away at the amount of salespeople that and just people in general, not even salespeople, because I saw it in the personal development industry. There's a reason they call things shelf help instead of self help, because you go and you buy a book and you really want to change a part of your life, and then you read it, and we all go through these ebbs and flows in life. No matter who we are, no matter how much money we make, no matter how successful we are, everybody goes through highs and lows. And when we're in a
absolutely.
low, we buy a book or we get a program,
If you're
and
smart.
then we start to come up and we take that book or program we put on the shelf, never implementing crap in it. Because and the reason I say that, and the reason I'm very passionate about that, is because I invest a lot in myself and I use it every day, and I see people invest in themselves and never use it.
Yeah,
And it to me,
that's
it's
that's the
somebody
worst.
said to me, "Well, no, a lot of people use it." I said, "Really, they do? Okay, if a lot of people used it, just like Tony Robbins, The Power Within, Awaken the Giant, right? Brendan Burchard's Motivation Manifesto, Jeb Blunt's Inked, like all of these books are years of the author's successful strategies that have brought them to multi millions of dollars. If you read them, why are you not there? Because you're not implementing them. Like let's just call a spade a spade. I do it as well. I try and implement everything. Even just over the weekend, I realized there was this course I took a year ago where I was like, oh my gosh, and it's all about branding. I've been struggling for 12 months to brand myself. I'm like, holy shit, I had all the tools. So I spent almost an entire day like just digesting it and creating all these strategies that I'm implementing immediately. But everybody does
Got
it.
it.
But
Yeah.
it's a where do
Well,
you want your career to be? And like to me, that's the first thing every morning. Where do I want my career to be? Okay. What choices I'm going to make today to get me there? Like, and I know some people will say, but Dan, I make calls every day. Okay. But are you calling sales audibles on your entire sales sequence? There's one thing to make calls every day, but if you're noticing on the third call, people fall off, you're losing engagement, or you're missing something. What are you doing to make that third call now? And if the 20% you're losing, what are you doing to lose 5%? Or what are you doing to not lose anyone? Right? Yeah, Jeffrey says you need to fail to become successful. But if you just think it's part of the journey, then the challenge is we don't stop and say, how could I get better at this? Right? Like, and it just please, for all of you listening and watching, just every day, just think to yourself, who is it that I want? Like, what are my ideal customers that I want to bring in? And as tough as it is, in the long run, you go talk to any successful salesperson, and they'll be the first ones to tell you, yeah, I don't care if they got 2 loads a day. If this person's going to chew up 80% of my time, I'm not taking them as a customer. I'm
yeah.
not. And it's they just be and you might say, well, because they're successful, Dan, because we see it all the time, right? A person on stage says this is like the key. Oh yeah, but you're on stage, right? Like, oh yeah, Tony Robbins slept in his car, but look at him, he runs $6 billion worth of companies. Yeah,
Yeah.
but like model what works, right?
Yeah.
And
That's
it's anyways.
well,
I'm
well,
repeating
and I was
myself over and over and over again, and I apologize, but
well, and I was trying to look up, so I just listened to something from Grant
100, Jeff.
Cardone. Yeah, walk away exactly. But I was listening to Grant Cardone, and he was saying the same thing in a video that I was just watching with him over the weekend about getting the information and then doing something with it. There are people who who will just consume the information but not actually produce anything from it. And
And
that's what
consuming it makes you feel like you're doing something.
yeah,
Like,
but
and this is DJ.
you
This
can't
is
just
the
consume it. You can't just take it in. You
But
can
a lot of
make
people, when
something
they
with it.
consume it, they're like, okay, I'm getting better. I'm doing something. Like, it gives them that. I don't know if it's dopamine or serotonin drip or whatever. But when we
I
consume
think it gives
content,
confidence. I think it gives the confidence
yeah,
that you know
something,
what to do now,
yeah.
but you're not putting it into action. You got to
Mhm.
really do it. Try it. Listen, Jeffrey said it, and I agree with him 1,000,000%. You need to fail before you become successful. Be willing to accept this. Yes, failure. Listen, failure even more is not an actual failure until you give up. Just don't give up. Try something else. Try something else. Try something else until it works. Something will work. Just try. You got to